everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jude, and today I will be reviewing the Matthew Kelly book called Life is Messy. And this is Matthew's latest book. It was just released on the 15th of August. And I was very, very anxious to read it because if you are a subscriber of mine, you know that I have done quite a few reviews on Matthew Kelly's book. So I always find his writings very relatable. I love the way that he has a way of putting into words his experience and then tapping into our everyday lives as well, and how we can take those experiences and we can grow from them. So this book is about putting our lives back together. And we know life doesn't always turn out just the way that we would like it to. And the premise behind the book, actually, Life is Messy, it was actually Matthew Kelly's journal that he made over a 3-year period, which was a very, very difficult time. He describes those 3 years that he was writing in his journal as the worst years of his life. And instead of making a chapter book, which he has done in the past, he decided to leave the entries in the journal and just give each topic a heading. And he writes, "The worst year of my life. Will the hurt ever stop? When nothing makes sense, mourning the life that could have been, learning to say no, and forgiveness." So there's so much packed into this book that I thought I would give you some insights on some of the key topics that I found were very, very helpful and very inspiring. So the first was a entry journal that had to do with everyone is fighting a hard battle. So we can feel overwhelmed when we go through these things that life hands to us and we feel that we are alone, that there's no other person that is experiencing. And of course, each one of our lives is going to be different and the circumstances are going to be different. But I think just the idea of remembering that we are not alone. And sometimes if you are dealing with something, you might keep a lot of it to yourself. And that just keeps you isolated. So one of the key blessings that we have is that there hopefully are people out there that will help you. And even if it's the kindness of a smile or taking a few moments to bring you some cheer and comfort while you're going through really terrible things. Matthew writes in this particular part of the journal, "Everyone you will ever meet is fighting a hard battle, even if it doesn't seem like it. We measure other people's lives by their blessings, but we don't see their hidden burdens. You never know what is going on inside someone, and everyone has something going on inside of them." So again, that just reiterates the fact that we are not alone. And another one that I really looked for encouragement is mourning the life that could have been. Many of us are thinking back on possibly the other avenues that we wished our life would have taken. Maybe we're at a point in our careers where we feel that if we would have taken a different path, life would have turned out differently. The process of grieving life, Matthew says, that could have been doesn't end. This diminishes over time and requires less emotional and psychological energy. But the smallest reminder of what you have lost can put you right back there again. So he suggests when we suffer trauma or loss, we're stunned and we can become numb. After the initial shock wears off, we can experience stress, disorientation, anger, anxiety, and depression. We can also fall into self-blame. So you can't just put the whole thing behind you. It's a part of who you are right now. And that's the thing. Don't discard the fact that you have been hurt. You bury your feelings, and many of us, probably most of us, have gone through some very traumatic experience, and burying that and thinking, okay, I'm just going to rise above it, and we could be faith-filled people. But if we don't acknowledge that situation, then we can't really heal and we can't grow. So Matthew goes on to say, more in the life that could have been if your dream had come true, if your baby hadn't died, if you had not been betrayed, if your spouse had not divorced you, if you hadn't made such a devastating mistake, if you hadn't gotten sick. More in that life, it is a prerequisite for discovering the exquisite possibilities that still lay ahead. And we might ask ourselves, well, how do we move forward? How do we pick up the pieces in this messiness of life? So when pain, darkness, misfortune, and grief touch our lives, we lose our footing, get tripped up, and stumble to the ground. After we've fallen flat on our face, our instinct is to curl up in a ball physically and emotionally, or both. Getting back up can be excruciating. It may seem impossible. We may need to rest and heal for a time. So healing in the ways that we need to do, and every person is different. So many people, in an attempt to help you and comfort you, they may just try to get your mind off of what you're going through and saying, well, God has a plan, and everything is okay, and that's all well and good, and I know they mean well. But as Matthew explains, in that healing, that mourning, that grieving process that we need to do, then we can go at our own speed, go at our own space and time that we need. So everybody's journey is different. In my experience of many, many miscarriages that I had, and looking all around and seeing healthy, big families, and I wanted children so badly. And so many people in their comfort would say, oh, well, it was for the better. God knew the reason that happened. And they all meant well and good, but it was very hard to think about that when you're in the grips of it and saying, it was for a reason, and you wanted to understand it, but you didn't. So taking that time that you need, and not feeling that if it's a day where you just are depressed and you just feel that you want some time alone and to be meditative, and of course, seek help. If you find yourself going deeper into a depression, then I certainly would suggest that you reach out and get some professional help. Now, the final point that I wanted to bring out that I just loved about this book too is Matthew's journal entry about forgiveness. There is no path forward without forgiveness. I know that. Still, forgiving is one of the hardest things to do in this life. The more you love someone and the more that person hurts you, the harder it is to forgive. So he goes on just to say that a wounded heart holds on to the hurt. And it's a poison, actually. Maybe the person that hurt you, they don't even remember what they did anymore, and you're still hurting and holding on to that hurt and that resentment and that poison. So I wanted to share this prayer that Matthew wrote just for that occasion when you're struggling to forgive. He said, "This is what I ask God, Spirit of God, at this time. I am unable or unwilling to forgive. I know not which. Fill me with the wisdom of forgiveness. Bring me to the beautiful truth that forgiving others is a part of my own healing. Cleanse me of the poison of unforgiveness. Shine light so I can see how unforgiveness affects my physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Today, I am unable or unwilling to forgive. I know not which. Just give me the desire to forgive, just the desire. This is all I ask today. Give me the desire to forgive, for I know, trust, and believe that if you place the desire to forgive firmly in my heart, the desire will grow, and the day will come when I am both willing and able to forgive. Amen." So my friends, I just loved Life is Messy so much that I would love to send one lucky winner a copy of this book. How to enter? Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment giveaway. And I hope that this book and just the message of the fact that don't lose hope. Life is messy for all of us. We don't have perfect lives. It may be just an illusion of all of the things that you see on social media. People don't have perfect houses and perfect lives and perfect families. But we do have the hope in Jesus that he is there to help us along the way. And books like this are such a good reminder. They help us along, enriching us and giving us that hope and that inspiration. So, my friends, I hope that you have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video.